freelancing versus running an agency. Which one is the right business model for you personally? In today's video, I'm going to help you make that decision, hopefully by providing some of my own opinions and views on this topic. I have been a freelancer before and I have ran an agency as well, so I think I have a good view on kind of the pros and cons on both of these. And I also help other creatives, both agency owners and freelancers, to get more clients online and build their online business. So hope this video is going to be valuable for you. Let's get straight into it. So freelancing versus agency, which one's right for you? Well, I first want to go over the pros and cons of each of them, and then after that kind of help you make a decision based on that. At the end of the day, you're gonna have to make that decision yourself, but I'm just trying to provide you some more information, right? So main pros of running an agency are that you have higher leverage, right? You don't get paid directly for your time. You get paid the difference between how much money you pay for the companies, people who work for you and deliver the actual service, and how much money the client pays for you. So if you sell a service, for example, for $1,000 and it costs you $300 in contractor fees to fulfill that service, then you profit $700, right? That's the company's profit. Obviously, there are other expenses associated with running an agency, like accounting and software and that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, you're basically making money on the margin between the cost of the labor and the cost of the service. I think it scales way higher and better than freelancing, because at the end of the day, you only have so many hours in a day that you can work on client projects. And with an agency, you can just hire more people who deliver the actual service. And so that way, you can make more money with an agency in the long term if you're trying to build something big. You also have more time freedom because you can, spend your time on different activities if you are not having to spend all your time on delivering the service and doing the actual video editing work or social media management work or whatever it is that you are selling. And also you are building a real business asset which can kind of run on its own after a while. Now, the reason I say that in quotes is because a lot of people like to say online that you can build an agency that you don't need to spend any time on, and it's just like all passive income, which from my experience and my friends' experience who run multiple six-figure agencies, it's really not the case, to be honest. You're always going to have to spend some time on making sure that the service delivered is high quality and also just maintaining things, but you can get to a point where you have a lot more time freedom when you're running an agency, and things won't immediately break if you don't spend all your time on it. Whereas with freelancing, if you try to take some time off or you're trying to do something else for a couple days, and you're not getting the work done, then you're screwed. So you have more time freedom, and basically when you are putting together your operations as an agency and you're creating systems and processes, you're building an actual asset, right? That is valuable. And the more clients you have, the more employees you have, the more stability you have in the business, you can eventually get to a point where you are more of just like an owner and founder, and you don't have to be in the day-to-day operations. But that comes at like a much higher level. Like once you're doing, $50K a month plus or $1 million a year plus run rate. Now, some of the cons of running an agency that I could come up with from the top of my head is you have more responsibility, because you're not only responsible for yourself, but also for your team members as well, right? Like their livelihood depends on you. So it's really important that you get new clients, new work every single month. And at the end of the day, you're responsible for everything they screw up as well, right? You are the business owner, so you need to make sure that everything runs smoothly. Like if an employee of yours calls in a sick day or whatever and the work needs to be delivered, it's not the freelancer's fault. You're going to be at fault. So it comes with more responsibility, and also it comes with more complexity and more moving parts than if you are just doing everything yourself and freelancing. So if you are more of a engineer type person who is really good with math, is really good with systems and processes and managing a team, or even if you are not really that kind of person, but you are interested in those, then I think running an agency can be a great option for you. But if you know that you are just best off working alone and you are really bad with all of those other things that I just mentioned, then maybe freelancing is actually a better option for you, especially when you're just starting out, right? And I just wanted to highlight that there is a huge difference between running like a lean, small, results-driven agency and the big 10 plus person or 30 plus person agency, because, you know, at that point you will probably have offices, you will be working with a lot bigger clients and a lot more of them. So running one of those is way more complex than running a small, just couple person team, and really, you know, when you're running a smaller agency that's more profit orientated, your margins can be really high, like 70+% easily. But when you start to scale things up and you're running like a multiple 7-figure agency, your margins get a lot lower as well. So you might actually not make that much money, even though you're generating a ton of revenue, because you have all of those extra expenses like add up, right? So I have personally never run like a huge agency that's, you know, multi 7 figures, but if you look at all the ones that are doing big numbers, you can see their margins go down a lot, and it's obviously a lot more complex as well. So yeah, you know, it depends on what you are trying to achieve at the end of the day, whether this is more of a lifestyle business for you or you're just trying to build something as big as possible. So yeah. Now, let's go over the pros and cons of freelancing as well. So the pros are that it's a lot more simple in the beginning. You know, there are basically no startup costs associated with starting a freelancing career, and you can just make everything super easy in the beginning. You just work with a couple of clients, you know, it's just you communicating with them. You don't have a team, there is no middleman, so that just makes things a lot less complicated. And you can also start up an agency with a very small amount of money, but still, you know, there are a lot more moving parts. There is less responsibility, in my opinion, when you're freelancing, because it's only you who can mess up and there is no team, right? It's all on you. Whether something ends up being incredible or horrible, it's all your fault or your credit, basically. So that's a pro or a con, whether, you know, depending on what kind of person you are, but there is that. And also there's, in my opinion, just a bit more trust and more of a personal dynamic with the clients you're working with, because, you know, it's just you directly working for them and there is no middleman in between, which would be an agency owner if it was an agency. So yeah, you will probably have a bit better relationships with clients. Obviously, you can still run an agency that delivers amazing service and your clients love you, but when you're directly working for someone, it is more of a personal relationship, from my experience when I was freelancing. And some of the cons of freelancing are that you are, first of all, selling your time for money. So that means that pretty soon you will run out of hours that you can sell, and that is just the reality of freelancing. So there are only one way you can scale a freelancing business, and that is by raising your prices. And you will get to a point where you're charging, you know, hundreds of dollars an hour and working with really professional and big clients. But even then, there is a cap to how much money you can make. The best freelancers, from what I noticed, can make, you know, like 10, 15, maybe 20K a month. And those are people who are charging, you know, really nice prices, maybe 30K, but that's like the cream of the crop. But there isn't really any freelancers, or not a lot, who are doing, you know, higher numbers than that. Obviously that is still like incredible results, but that means you are working like 24/7 on client work. So yeah, there's that. And also there is less time freedom, because you are always obligated to just work on the client campaigns. And you know, if you can manage your time really efficiently and well, that can be completely fine. It's like having a high paying job if you do it correctly, that you can do in, you know, 4-6 hours a day. But it isn't the same as being an actual business owner who manages everything and can kind of set their own boundaries and grow the company from a higher level view. Now, which one is right for you, right? That's the question at the end of the day. And I think there are pros and cons to each of these. I personally realized that I'm more of an agency person. I didn't enjoy freelancing that much after a couple years of doing it. And also it depends on what is your goal and how fast you are trying to get to that goal. So if you're just trying to go from zero to like $3,000 a month, so you can maybe quit your job or travel the world and live in Bali or whatever, where the cost of living is low, freelancing is probably like a faster way to get there, because like I said, people trust you more when you are just a person instead of kind of like being a company or an agency owner. And in my opinion, it's just like a bit easier and faster to get started with. But then once you're trying to go from that 3-4K a month mark and really free up a lot of your hours that you can spend on different things and growing your business, like growing an actual business, then I think the agency model becomes more appealing. And that's where you can really get to that point where you're making, multi-six figures and running an actual operation, and you're more of a business owner than, a contractor and someone who works for other people. Which, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Like, not everybody is the same. So obviously not everybody wants the same thing, and that's completely fine. And a lot of people have been fed this lie or this bullshit in the entrepreneurship or like work business space, that having a job or working for someone else is like horrible. And I totally don't agree with that now. I used to kind of preach that message, but I think it's so stupid. Some people are going to be way happier working for a corporation or a business for a good amount of pay, because it comes with less responsibility. It usually comes with more stability as well. So do whatever is going to make you happier in the long term, in my opinion, because what's the point of making money if you are miserable, right? If you've been in that spot, you will know exactly what I mean. If you haven't been and you want to get there, you'll realize it's no fun. So yeah. Now, the main challenge with both of these business models is getting new clients and getting high ticket clients and charging higher prices and really structuring your time and building out systems and processes so you can work efficiently. If you're running an agency, it's, building a team and just putting something together that is tangible out of thin air. It's an incredible, difficult challenge. So that is the reason why Greg and I, my business partner, and I have created Clients for Creatives. And that is basically a coaching service for freelancers and creative agency owners who want to get to 10K a month as soon as possible with their business. And they want to do it online, and they want to work with online clients so they can have location and time freedom as well with their business. So yeah, if you are interested in getting personal help from me with setting everything up and really just like learning how to hone in your sales skills, learning how to put all these different operations together and get leads and get as many like appointments as possible every single week, then you can go ahead and book in a call with me personally in the description, where we will see whether you would be a good fit for our program or not. If you are not a good fit, no worries. You basically just got kind of like a free coaching call with no costs at all. But if you are a good fit, then I will make you an offer at the end of the call. So you can join the program if you want to. And that is basically it. I just wanted to say that at the end, because I know that this consulting business that we have can help so many creatives, because as creatives, we are really good at the creative side of things and creating incredible work, but we are not really naturally good at business, because nobody really teaches that, right? If you are not in the business space where you learn a ton about selling and operations and all these things, it's not something that comes to most people naturally. So that's why I created this service. So if you're interested in that, check it out in the description. Other than that, when it comes to the decision whether you should start an agency or a freelancing business, I think you should take all these pros and cons that I just listed into your mind. Really write down on a piece of paper what you want to personally achieve and where you want to go in the next 6 months, and then make a decision based on that. Just get started with it, and you can always pivot from either running an agency to doing freelance, or from freelance to running an agency and hiring people. So hope you found this video valuable. If you did, drop a like on it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.